What's up guys, my name's Dakota and welcome back to DBCB Exotics. Today we are going to be... I'm just messing with you guys. I mean, what is this, 2019 Dakota?
Natural hiding places for them, while also having that microphone.
Last week we talked about the top 5 most exciting reptiles that you can have. These are going to be incredible, interactive animals with a bunch of personality. And then I got a comment to do, well, the exact opposite. The top 5 most boring reptiles. That was the whole reason of the little thing I did earlier. Now these are going to be animals that are, well, as the title suggests, just plain boring. They don't do anything, they just lay around, they're really not a fun, interactive pet, and all in all, just a stick in the mud as far as reptiles go. So with all that being said, let's sit back, relax, dive into the most boring reptiles you can have, and roll the intro! Oh, just a quick disclaimer, this is my own personal opinion. I know I'm gonna get crap on for the reptiles I'm gonna be talking about, so leave your nasty comment if you want. But you saw the disclaimer, so you can't say you didn't. I didn't warn you. Kicking off this list, we're gonna be starting with number 5, the Leopard Gecko. And don't get me wrong, I love my Leopard Gecko. I think he's a cool dude. It's fun tongue feeding him. He usually misses and bites my finger, and it's adorable because it's a gecko this big. However, you don't see him. I mean, he sleeps. I think that's a problem. I won't be talking about all nocturnal species, but there will be some that are put in this list. Okay, before you leave your comment, they are a crepuscular species. They come out during the time of dawn and dusk, not purely night. However, with that being said, they sleep most of the day. The time that you are actually awake, your leopard gecko is going to be out like a light. He's going to be sleeping in his hide, or his other hide, or maybe his other hide, and that's about it. That's the experience of the leopard gecko. Of course, you can take him out and you can chill with him, be that as it may. You know, if you're looking for an animal that you're going to be able to view in its natural habitat, you're making a nice bioactive enclosure, you want to see what that animal does in the wild, in captivity, you're not going to find it because the leopard gecko literally does nothing during the time you are awake. The time you're going to see an exciting moment of the leopard gecko is if it's the dead of night, about, you know, 10 o'clock, midnight, whatever, pretty much the time you're about to go to sleep. You're going to turn off all the lights, you can get your night vision goggles on. I'm sure everyone owns a pair of those, I mean, myself included, and that is pretty much the only way you're gonna see an exciting moment within the leopard gecko. If it's during the day, you're gonna see him sleeping. That's about it. Moving on, let's get into the next animal on this list, which is gonna bring us to number 4, the PacMan Frog.
Hey there gamers, Editing Dakota here. I just realized I was thinking of Pixie Frog when I talked about this, not PacMan Frog. Sorry about that.
Oh my god, is the PacMan Frog an ever boring reptile? It sits there. That is the extent of what the PacMan Frog is. It's awake during this time. Maybe you'll see it. Most likely it's hiding or half burrowed into this thing to where it looks like just a giant slimy muffin pretty much. That is the extent of the excitement of the PacMan Frog. Now, don't get me wrong, PacMan frogs are cool, man. I mean, they eat these giant things, they get ginormous, you know, the size of your palm is this PacMan frog, but I believe feeding it is pretty much the extent of where the excitement goes. Other than that, it's just a big blob sitting in the corner of the tank doing absolutely nothing. Have you seen your PacMan frog move? I bet you haven't. However, I bet you've seen it sitting there, and I bet that's the extent of it. I get it for frog people, you know, it's a cool giant frog, it eats these giant meals, it's cool, it's awesome. However, for interactiveness, a big personality, it don't have a big personality, but it does have a big, well, all of it, it's just big. I think that's the limit of the excitement you get with the PacMan Frog. Now, if you thought those animals were boring, I mean, hey, at least you actually get to see the PacMan Frog. But next up on this list, you don't even see him. I don't know really why anyone owns this species. It's nothing, man. You get nothing out of it. That is going to be number 3, the Peter's Bandit Skinks. Now going back a couple of years, I owned a pair of Peter's Bandit Skinks. They were an actual sex pair. I was really excited. Back then, nobody has ever bred them, and I wanted to test my luck on it. I was the new breeder on the block, only doing it for 1 year, and I thought to myself, if I can breed these Peter's Bandit Skinks, I'll get my name out there, and then everyone will love me, and I won't be a failure. I can prove my parents wrong that this is a job. It is a career. Yeah, it didn't work out. Not only was I not successful with breeding the Peter Pan and Skinks, I also never found them. Like, never saw them ever. I believe now when we're talking about nocturnal, most of the stuff is crepuscular. This is a purely nocturnal animal. Only coming out the few times that I saw him was in the hours of 3 to 4 a.m. in the morning. That was when they finally came out and moved around. Not 10 o'clock, not midnight, all the lights off, those assholes were still in the ground. And that's the whole thing. Peter's Bandit Skinks are a burrowing species, so when they're not out during the hours of this 4 a.m. window, they are buried deep into the ground. A lot of times I had to feed them, I had to like scoop half the sand around trying to find the damn things, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't a fun time. These weren't fun animals, because the fact that 90% of the time you don't even see them. It's not like you can lift up a hide, oh, there it is. No, they're buried inside the deep substrate you need for them. They're not coming out for anything unless for some reason you're like me, an insomniac that is just up at all hours of the night. That is the time you see your Peter's Bandit Skinks. The Peter's Bandit Skinks does have some redeeming qualities. If you actually take them out, they're really fun to interact with. You know, they like crawl around. They're super docile, even with imported things. They're like one of the most chill wild-caught things I've ever seen. They don't really run away. They kind of just move around on you. They're really cool looking. Of course, those yellows and blacks, the black eyes. It's really cool. It would be a lot cooler if you gotta do that, you know, at some point during the hours of 7 a.m. to 3 a.m. in the morning. I don't want to stay up to see my skinks. I mean, is that too much to ask? Yeah, that's why they made the list. I mean, they're fun when they're out, they're a cool looking animal, but all in all, if I'm not seeing them from 90% of the time, if they're literally buried 6 inches down into the ground, of course they're gonna make the most boring reptile list. But alrighty folks, moving down on this list, we only have a couple more reptiles to talk about, and that is gonna bring us to number 2, the red-eyed tree frog. Now I remember when I first got my red-eyed tree frogs, I was so excited, man. This was a childhood dream of mine. I had the wallpaper of the red-eyed tree frogs as a kid. I wanted to own my very own tree frogs. When I started getting into reptiles, I knew the tree frogs were for me. I wanted to make that childhood dream become a reality. And my God, did I really regret that decision. Not only are red-eyed tree frogs a difficult species, they're super sensitive. You need to make sure your husbandry is on point, and they're all in all just a very fragile frog. It's not a handling frog. They jump really far. Not a fun pet. Oh, but hey, Dakota, you know, it's not a fun pet, but they look absolutely gorgeous. Those blue legs, those red eyes, I mean, they're an amazing species. At least they make a great display animal. No, they do not. With the red-eyed tree frogs, at least in my personal experience, this animal seems to be a nocturnal species, not a crepuscular. I can turn off the lights, wait an hour, 2 hours, you know, I can usually turn off at 9 p.m. or so around 11 I'll come back and see these guys. I want to see them out exploring, and I don't. They're still sleeping. 12, 1 a.m., still sleeping. I don't think, it's probably been months that I've actually seen my red-eyed tree frogs out and about. And here's the thing with the red-eyed tree frogs, they really have beautiful colors. However, those colors are their legs and underbody and their red eyes. Now what happens when a red-eyed tree frog is sleeping? It turns into a small green blob. They tuck their legs in, tuck their arms in, like the cat, you know, the little cat, how they do that. Pretty much red-eyed tree frogs do that, and they close their eyes. So you don't get to see any of those cool colorations while they're asleep. You literally just see a small green blob. Of course, with red-eyed tree frogs being a sensitive species and having, you know, your husbandry on point, you're gonna wanna do a bioactive planted vivarium, which I did, which includes a lot of green plants. Now you put a green blob with a lot of green plants, and you get an animal that is really hard to see. Camouflage game on point. I never see my red-eyed tree frogs. I just want to see a green blob, but here I am picking through every pothos leaf I can see to see, oh hey, where are they? Oh hey, finally found one. And it's just a green blob. Just a boring animal, not fun. It's not a fun pet. Okie dokie, gamers, we are almost done with this list. Now we gotta see some boring reptiles. Leopard geckos, Peter's Bandit Skinks, something else I can't remember, and a tree frog. I mean, my God, can it get any more boring than this? Yes, it absolutely can. That is gonna bring us to number 1, the thing that is going to piss off a lot of reptile breeders. Number 1 on this list, ball pythons. I honestly don't believe anyone will ever buy my ball pythons because I shit on ball pythons and ball python breeders all the time, yet I am one. I think I'm just in so much, what's the word? Denial that... Oh god, why am I a YouTuber? I can't talk. Pythons, folks, also known as the pet rock of the reptile world, these things do absolutely nothing. They sit there, they ball up, as in the name, ball pythons. I'm not gonna call them royal pythons. They earn no royalty from me because, my god, these things do absolutely nothing. Yes, of course, they look cool. You can get them in any paint job you want. Oranges, blues, purples, rainbows, neon colors. I'm sure Kevin McCurley's working on that one right now. However, what's the point when it does nothing? Not to mention the fact they are a pain in the ass. They're just a pain in the ass, man. Oh, yeah, I gave you a rat last week, and here's another rat. You ate it fine last week. Oh, what's this? You're not gonna eat frozen thawed now? It's to the correct temperature. You're in the correct habitat. The parameters are right. Why are you not eating? Oh, you're just not gonna eat for 7 months? Okie dokie, thanks, man. I feel like I'm in this like weird middle ground where I can't shit on ball pythons too much because then people won't buy my ball pythons, but I also have to make content and I wanted to shit on ball pythons, so it's a bit of an oxymoron. I think that's the right way to use oxymoron, am I wrong? Well, there you have it, folks, the top 5 most boring reptiles. But now it's your turn. Leave me a comment in the comment section. What do you guys think? Was I wrong in this list? Are you gonna rip me a new one with all the things that I said? And you're like, leopard geckos are the most exciting animal on Earth. They beat Argus monitors. Or hey, maybe there's another boring reptile that I didn't put on this list, and you want to state that and be on my team. As always, if you haven't had enough of this top 5 video goodness, we got a nice playlist right here talking about all my top 5 videos. We got a couple more awesome videos, and right down here or right on my face is where you hit the subscribe button, which I would much appreciate. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I sincerely thank you for pressing that subscribe button. Thank you so much. Okay, folks, that's gonna be all. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.